The first thing Lieutenant Vark noticed about the human was the grin. It wasn't the calm, serene kind you see on the face of someone accepting their fate. No, this one had teeth. A lot of teeth. The kind of smile that made his three stomachs tighten and whispered the ancient warning of instinct, predator. They'd caught the human during a skirmish on the Outer Rim, a small, insignificant outpost that should have fallen without resistance. Instead, Vark's team lost 7 of their 12 to traps, ambushes, and what intelligence reports dryly referred to as guerrilla improvisation. Now, finally, the source of their chaos was strapped to a reinforced containment chair in Interrogation Chamber 3B. The human's hands were cuffed behind his back, feet chained to the floor, yet still, the smile. Vark cleared his throat and gestured to the neural stimulant array beside him. You are restrained. Surrounded. Your allies are gone. You will answer our questions. The human blinked. His expression didn't change, except his head tilted just slightly, like a dog pretending to understand quantum mechanics. Okay, the human said. Shoot. Vark hesitated. He'd read the reports. Humans were supposed to be resilient, stupidly so. But this one didn't just look unbothered. He looked amused. The technician flicked the first level of pain stimulation. Just a mild spike, enough to make most species flinch. The human snorted. Seriously? That's like getting slapped with a wet noodle. You guys do this for fun? Level 2, Vark said, voice clipped. This time the human hissed slightly and then grinned wider. Okay, that one felt like stubbing my toe. You're on the right track. Got anything that feels like stepping on a Lego? The technician glanced at Vark, clearly uncomfortable. Vark ignored him and stepped closer. We need coordinates. Supply routes. Names. See, I'd love to help, the human said. But I signed a little paper that said I wasn't supposed to do that. Very official. Had a wax seal and everything. Level 3. The human bit his lip, eyes fluttering shut for a second, then reopened them with a look of mild interest. You know, I once dislocated my shoulder trying to open a pickle jar. This feels kind of like that. Vark's hand clenched into a fist. Why are you resisting? Resisting? No, I just genuinely don't care. The human leaned back, or tried to, and let out a theatrical sigh. You guys keep calling this interrogation, but I've had dental work scarier than this. My last dentist didn't numb me properly. That man was a monster. The technician turned off the machine. Commander, I don't think this is working. Vark turned to face the observation glass. Behind it, his superior, high strategist core stood stiff as ever. Vark could practically feel the disappointment vibrating through the glass. Core gestured curtly. Try something else. With a slow inhale, Vark stepped forward and crouched slightly to eye level with the human. You think this is funny? He said. Oh, absolutely. You're in pain. A little, yeah? You don't mind it? I mind it, the human said. I just don't fear it. Big difference. You'd know that if you'd ever had a kidney stone. Or an ex-wife named Karen. Vark rose again, pacing the room. This doesn't make sense. Your biology, your systems should be flooded with distress signals. Why aren't you breaking? I did break, the human said casually. Last year. Hairline fracture in the femur. Ran a half marathon before I noticed. Thought it was shin splints. The room fell into a stunned silence. Even the technician was staring now. Vark turned slowly. You ran. With a broken leg. Technically on a broken leg. Only half of it was busted. What is wrong with you? The human's expression shifted, just for a second. Something behind the grin shimmered, a flicker of steel beneath the madness. Let me tell you something, Squidward, he said, suddenly quiet. You lot are used to nice, clean battles. Armor, strategy, neat formations, zero emotion. Humans? We got thrown into history's blender and came out chewing ice cubes. We don't fight because we enjoy it. We fight because the alternative is giving up. And giving up's not in our wiring. Silence again. The kind that buzzed against the skull. Vark was no longer amused. This thing, this creature in human skin, was not behaving according to any protocol, any known psychological profile. It wasn't resisting interrogation. It was mocking it. Take him back to his cell, Vark said finally. No more probes. As the technician moved to comply, the human called out one last thing, cheerful as ever. Hey, if you guys want to try again, bring snacks next time. Torture works better when I'm not hangry. Back in his command office, Vark reviewed the recording. Frame by frame. Expression by expression. He slowed the video at the moment the human smiled during level 3 stimulation. There. Just a flicker in the eye. Enjoyment. He turned off the recording and leaned back in his chair. We're not dealing with a prisoner, he said to no one. We're dealing with something worse. The lights in his office flickered slightly as the bass generator groaned. Somewhere in the depths of the holding cells, the human was already humming a tune. And somewhere deeper still, Vark felt something he hadn't experienced since he was a hatchling. Dread. The research station orbiting Gliese 12C wasn't built for warfare. It was a sterile ring of labs, containment bays, and lecture halls, designed for quiet experiments and the occasional ethical violation tucked between grant renewals. But now, in Observation Dome Theta 9, 5 of the galaxy's most distinguished xenobiologists stood in a semicircle, staring at the problem currently sprinting on a treadmill. Human Subject 47B, designated Cooper, had been running for 3 hours and 47 minutes. No breaks. No hydration. No apparent goal. Just a rhythmic pounding of feet, a glistening sheen of sweat, and a pulse that defied every known chart. He should be dead, muttered Dr. Rauch, a ventracine metabolic specialist with 4 lungs and the patience of a flame in a hurricane. He says he's just getting warmed up, replied the translator unit. Getting warmed up, Rauch echoed flatly. He's metabolizing pure sugar, sodium, caffeine, and animal fat. He should have collapsed from cardiac failure 2 hours ago. Humans possess an astonishing redundancy system, said Dr. Scheinel, her claws clicking nervously. Multiple layers of compensation. When one system begins to fail, 3 others kick in, frequently in ways that make no logical sense. Cooper suddenly whooped and increased the speed on the treadmill. The machine groaned like a dying beast. Let's go, he shouted. This is just like that time in Utah. Except I don't have a hangover this time. Dr. Rauch's eye ridges twitched. He's celebrating. He enjoys this, murmured Dr. Scheinel. The strain. The exertion. He finds pleasure in suffering. Cooper waved cheerfully at the dome. Hey, do y'all have a sauna or something? I like to finish strong. Dr. Velik, the stoic lead of the research team, cleared his throat with a rumble. We've tested him at 60 degrees Celsius ambient temperature, subjected him to intermittent hypoxia, dosed his water with mild hallucinogens, and limited nutrient intake for 36 hours. He is thriving. I heard that, Cooper yelled. And I'd like to formally request a steak. Scheinel turned. This isn't a test subject. It's a biological paradox wrapped in sarcasm and meat. He's not just resilient, Velik said slowly, eyes narrowing. He's adaptive. He's evolving to the conditions. A soft chime rang from the adjacent console. Dr. Rauch's eyes darted to it. Ambient toxin levels in Sector Delta are spiking, he said. Scheinel frowned. That's impossible. It's a sealed environment. Cooper was there 3 hours ago. The team looked at one another. Then back at Cooper. We scanned him thoroughly before intake, Scheinel said. He had no contaminants. Cooper suddenly stopped running. His chest rose and fell with deep, even breaths. He stepped off the treadmill, rolled his shoulders, and grabbed a towel. Man, that hit the spot, he said. Next time, maybe throw in a few bears. Just for fun. You should be dehydrated, Velik said, stepping toward the glass. You haven't consumed fluids in nearly 4 hours. I drank my sweat, Cooper said. Everyone went silent. You what? Cooper blinked. Not all of it. Just enough. You guys don't do that? Wait, do y'all even sweat? Dr. Relk staggered back from the console, his color shifting slightly. I need to lie down. Velik composed himself. You realize that's biologically unsanitary. Welcome to Earth, baby, Cooper said and winked. Dr. Scheinel pulled up the toxin report again. Her expression was pale. There's something else, she said. His body is metabolizing the hallucinogens. Not just filtering them, using them. His brain activity spiked into a pattern we haven't seen before. It looks like creativity. He weaponized mind-altering chemicals? Relk asked. No, Velik said grimly. He adapted to them. He got high and figured out how to run better. There was a long pause. Then Scheinel tapped a fresh chart onto the display. Here. Internal temperature elevated. Heart rate accelerated. Cortisol peaking. By all metrics, he's undergoing severe physiological stress. So he's dying? Relk asked hopefully. No, Scheinel replied. He's having fun. They turned back to Cooper, who was now doing push-ups with one hand while humming something called Eye of the Tiger. Velik exhaled slowly. Send a report to Central Command. Immediate threat level revision. Scheinel looked up. To what? To maximum, Velik said. If this is what they do without weapons. A klaxon interrupted them, flashing red. The internal comms crackled. Containment breach in Biosector 12. Human subject 48D has compromised the quarantine fields. Relk gasped. That's the one we exposed to radiation. Cooper looked up, mildly concerned. Wait, Jeremy got out? Your companion? Yeah. He had 6 Red Bulls and a bad idea. What's the damage? The comms buzzed again. He is currently sprinting down the corridor. On fire. Laughing. Classic Jeremy, Cooper said with a fond shake of the head. Scheinel whispered, There's more of them. Cooper flashed a smile, wiped the sweat from his brow, and cracked his neck. You haven't even seen the weird ones yet. And somehow, despite everything, no one doubted him. The first warning came not from sensors, but from screams. Echoing down steel corridors, the kind that froze even seasoned warriors in mid-step. Private Skull had been in the elite Sakari Shock Division for 9 standard years. He'd survived orbital drops, acid fog, and a skirmish with the Trelvax Howlers. But this wasn't war. It was chaos. They had cornered a lone human near the reactor core. Unarmed. Bleeding. Limping. 12 armed troopers against 1 soft-world biped. According to protocol, it should have been over in seconds. Instead, it started with a smile. Sir, we've lost contact with Beta Squad, the comms officer stammered. Vital signals cut out mid-transmission. No warning. No distress beacon. Commander Tran narrowed his eyes. Send the feed. What played on the screen wasn't combat. It was carnage. The human, designation, Sergeant Rios, had been slumped against the wall, blood pooling beneath him. But the moment the first trooper approached, something changed. The limp vanished. The eyes sharpened. The heart rate monitor spiked off the charts. And then Rios moved. Faster than the frame rate could track, he was inside the formation. A snarl, a punch, a scream. Armor crumpled like tinfoil. Plasma rifles knocked aside like toys. He fought like gravity had quit, leaping, spinning, dragging 3 enemies into a wall hard enough to shatter bone. It wasn't a trained style. It was raw, brutal instinct. He went berserk, whispered Tran. They triggered a predator response. The human was already wounded, the officer said, voice trembling. Yes. And it got worse after that. Another feed played. Helmet cam. A trooper screaming. He's smiling. He's actually smiling. Before the line cut out. Do we engage? Asked the lieutenant. No, Tran said grimly. We contain. Seal off the reactor level. Cut oxygen. Deploy nerve gas. A pause. But, sir, the officer said slowly, that might not kill him. I'm not trying to kill him, Tran said. I'm trying to slow him down. Inside the sealed level, Sergeant Rios dragged himself to his feet. His knuckles were raw. His side ached where plasma had grazed him. Every muscle screamed. His lungs burned. He grinned. Pain's just a notification, he muttered, cracking his neck. Not a command. His hands trembled, not from fear, but adrenaline. That beautiful, terrible chemical surge that turned fear into fury, fatigue into fire. The Salkari had come expecting a cornered animal. They hadn't understood what humans became when cornered. He wasn't fighting to win anymore. He was fighting because they'd made the mistake of making it personal. The lights dimmed. The air got thinner. Gas, he rasped, pulling a strip of torn uniform over his nose. Cute. He could feel his vision tunneling, muscles locking up, but that was just chemistry. And chemistry could be overridden. He remembered the words of his old drill sergeant, a lunatic from New Jersey. You don't stop fighting when it hurts. You stop when the universe physically restrains you. And even then, try biting it. So he kept moving. The corridor up ahead shimmered, shields locking into place. He had 20 seconds before total lockdown. Behind him, troopers. Ahead, death. He ran forward. Outside the level, Commander Tran watched the data spike. He's accelerating, the tech said, stunned. Oxygen deprivation, internal bleeding, adrenal overload, and he's running like it's a morning jog. He'll pass out soon, Tran insisted. The technician's voice was faint. Or evolve. Tran turned sharply. Excuse me? The human body doesn't shut down under threat, the tech murmured. It escalates. Surges. Redirects. We've seen cardiac output double in seconds. Tissue tear and regrow. Some even claim temporary cognitive overclocking. You're saying he's getting smarter? I'm saying we gave him every reason to die, the tech said, and he chose not to. Tran stared at the feed, just as the human breached the shield. Not through it. Over it. Scaling a vent shaft with bleeding fingers, snapping a coolant pipe to create an explosive burst, then launching himself past the field's edge before it sealed. No weapons, Tran whispered. No backup. No logic. Just raw determination. He turned to his officers. From now on, new directive: if a human goes quiet, do not assume compliance. Assume combustion. The feed showed Rios crawling into an access tunnel. Grinning. Leaving a smeared message on the wall in blood. Try harder. Tran had seen many kinds of courage. Tactical bravery. Trained resilience. Genetic confidence. But this? This was madness, carved into flesh and bone. This was a species that didn't understand surrender, not because they resisted it, but because they never learned how. Tran didn't know how many more were on this station. But he now understood something critical. One was already too many.